All right, we're here with Stanford quarterback KJ Costello. Cardinal off to a 2-0 start, got the big win against USC, a little bit of payback last Saturday, and I'm just kind of curious, after having looked at the film, what stands out in terms of your impressions of the game?
I definitely think what stands out is our balanced attack. I think, going to that first drive, we really kind of was able to deliver both in the air, off play action, and on the ground. We picked up a big play up the seam and then got down in the red zone, took what the defense gave us on a quick little hitch route, and then two power runs into the end zone, and that kind of was the theme throughout the game. There was times when, multiple times, when we shot ourselves in the foot, moving the ball really well, and then a holding call, maybe an offsides. We had a couple delay games due to substitutions and stuff like that. So I felt like we were in a rhythm the majority of the night, but we were pulling ourselves out of that rhythm consecutively, and the goal going forward is to minimize those mistakes that are holding us back.
You started out 14 of 17, and then you finished 2 of 10, and Coach Shaw said a lot of those were misses by inches at the most. Just kind of talk about accuracy and kind of where you feel you are in that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I really wanted to go into that game feeling as if I was playing really, really smooth and slow mentally. Not to fool you, but in terms of really not thinking too fast, seeing exactly what I needed to see. And I felt like I was doing that early, and then when it was time to deliver the ball, I felt I was putting it on time. So really in that first half, I was getting through my progressions when I needed to. We ran multiple looks, a couple that SC maybe hadn't seen, so we were hitting our primaries there kind of early on. And in the second half, it kind of shifted over a little bit more to some tighter windows, a little bit more man. They're bringing a little bit more pressure as they were down and behind, which is where I want to even be better. Going in, watching that tape in the second half, there was throws where we definitely need to make those. Some third downs I still wanted to go back and convert. But it was definitely good overall, but could have been better for sure.
Coach gave you B/B+ on the pre-snap. How do you feel like you did in that regard?
Yeah, I mean, pre-snap is huge for us. I think I really felt what SC's plan was early. My goal was to feel them out early on. And then they started to really heat us up, like I was saying, going on there in the third quarter. They started to bring some exotic blitzes, some pressures that I'd never seen before. And so I should have been able to see the whole story, and be able to get us in some certain checks, which we may have been getting into the checks, but communication while getting in those checks was a little bit slow at times. But I would agree with Coach. I'd probably be a little harder on myself. I was a little bit more towards a C+, B-.
Now, you guys did make some big plays. Talk about those third down conversions to Caden. He talked about you guys at this point being so locked in and kind of on the same page.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we made up for, a couple second downs, where we had incompletions, try to fit it in tight windows with a couple third and longs. Caden did an incredible job feeling space, getting some clean releases up the seam, but also sometimes he was getting rerouted quite a bit by, their linebackers, a little bit of strong boundary row, strong safety a little bit. And he was doing a great job getting skinny and working away from defenders like that. But in those situations, we know we have to expect a tight window, and it's going to be either we come down with the ball or it's going to be an incomplete pass based on where I place it. And we were victorious more than not in that game.
Is that the best game you've seen your defensive guys play?
Absolutely. I mean, in terms of momentum, I talked about it on game or post game, but in terms of coming off the field on a third down and feeling confident, talking to the guys, hey, we better get ready. So we're about to go back out there, and hearing the crowd stand up after you just came off the field because it's another third down was a great feeling to have, and hopefully we continue to have that feeling for the rest of the year.
The defensive guys talk a lot about the adjustments that Lance Anderson makes and how he's kind of open to hearing what they have to say. What is your in-game adjustment conversations like with Coach Pritchard and Coach Shaw? Like, how does that go?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all do an incredible job preparing. Therefore, we're able to communicate, along the same chain of command. We understand what we thought they were going to do, and therefore when they do something different, we tend to see the same thing. Coach Pritchard might see it a little sooner than I do up in the box, which is very helpful for me. But Coach Shaw's obviously tuned in right there as well. So we all end up eventually seeing the same thing and getting on the same page.
And then just one last thing, Coach talked about playing to your standard as opposed to whoever the opponent is. That's kind of a factor, I think, this week. Talk about where you guys want to get better and kind of your mindset for this week.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's a great week for, you know, to focus on ourselves in terms of we had, I think, 7 penalties, 5-6 penalties. I still feel like we're doing some really good things, but we'll refer back to it. We definitely shot ourselves in the foot. I didn't like the feeling multiple times there in the first half when we were going on good drives. After Bryce's big run, we had 2 delay games, and then we ended up punting or kicking a field goal there. I don't quite remember. But in terms of getting rid of that, getting that out of our repertoire for now, at least going forward, is going to be the focus this week. And it couldn't be a better timing.
All right, Stanford quarterback KJ Costello. Thank you, KJ.
Sweet.